watching, I am going to be painting alongside Bonnie, and we are watching each other paint while we shit talk each other.
Yes.
And while we try to
I wish
actually
you'd
make an image ourselves. And okay, so what I'm doing is just setting my horizon. We both have the same reference photo, which is a blurred out sunset that was taken somewhere in California. And I am using a large brush to block in.
I'm doing nothing right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that really makes for a great video. Thanks.
It makes for a great video. The reason why I'm doing nothing, I'm still looking at this picture and I'm still trying to figure out.
Okay.
I want to make it gray. So I'm going to need to mix basically the 3 primary colors type things with a little bit of white, most likely.
Yes.
Right?
So make a brownish chromatic gray.
Yeah. I'm going to make myself a little gray, and then I'm going to jump back in and start painting, but I've got to come up. Yeah, I never get anything done as quick as Chris does. I just want everybody to know that this isn't like a marathon. Chris and I are just talking, and we're watching what he's doing a little bit. And
what do you do quickly, Bonnie?
Nothing. I don't do anything quickly. Even walking, people call them Bonnie steps.
Yeah, I remember trying to go get coffee with you in the evening at the market, and you swearing at me to slow down.
Yeah,
I'm just a fast walker. Sorry.
Oh my God. Everybody's in such a fucking hurry all the time. What is going on?
Not sure.
Me either.
Okay, so I just mixed up kind of a darker reddish brown, and I used a little bit of water to thin it out. I'm using water-soluble oils, just so everyone knows. It's not acrylic.
Uh-huh. I'm watching you do that right now.
Scraping it down a little bit. All right.
Yeah, also, I'll be stopping. I won't be painting. If I'm not painting, I'm probably watching Chris and what he's just kind of getting a feel like, what's Chris doing while he's, just so everybody knows.
Okay, so I just established my darkest dark.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to try to establish my lightest light. And I'm going to attempt to stay within those parameters. When you do a sun flare, if you just start from a balance point and attempt to draw it in, I think, at least for me, I never am able to quickly attain my darkest dark, and I end up overpainting several different areas when I really don't have to. Okay, so there is what I want to be my lightest light, which is that yellow right there. And so now I can start to go around and add more color. But I sort of have my parameters down.
I am still blocking in. I'm not exactly happy with this gray I made. And I think I'm using the wrong size brush. That's what I think is going on with me too. Yeah. What size brush are you using over there, Chris?
I'm using a replacement brush because my other good oil painting brush is outside somewhere, in a bay and I can't find it, so I just grabbed a piece of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
It is
what
a round. I
Okay.
don't know. It's like a round 4
You're
or
using
5
a round.
maybe.
Okay, because
No. I'm sorry. I misspoke. It's a filbert.
Okay, you have a filbert.
Yeah.
I have one filbert, and it's a size 6, and I think that would be great. I was using like a big wide, like a 1/2-inch flat. Like that's too much. I'm only using like a little 5x7-inch piece of wood here. So we tried to do this yesterday.
Sometimes just. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We tried to do this yesterday. We did it. I mean, we kind of did it. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday when we did the chickens and the grass?
Yeah, that was the day before yesterday.
Okay, and we posted that on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
we learned some lessons.
I made a fast-forwarded version.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everything I was doing was shaking. And a lot of what you were doing was causing a lot of audio disturbance.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never thought to do a sound visual check beforehand. And our camera started to wander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm checking on my camera right now. It's doing good.
Good.
So you put in your lightest yellows. I'm still using the wrong brush. I'm having a problem with my gray. Sorry. It's going to take me a little longer than but there's other people sitting here who are going to be watching this, and they're going to be as slow as I am. So, yay, I'm the slow person today.
Yeah, I hope we get 5 views.
Oh, me too. Even if we get 1, I'll make my mom do it for sure. So what we were talking about though yesterday or the other day when we were painting was we both had these cool interviews this week that we posted on our PaintCast podcast. And I listened to your interview today and I really enjoyed it actually. Because it was such a nice, sweet, real in-depth conversation, actually, just about various techniques. It just went to the depth of the studio, which is what I like to really hear. You know, when he went into talking about printmaking and he could just get into the nuggets of it and be very, very specific. And I really liked that. Like that was a really helpful podcast, actually.
I'm glad he did so too, because I just rambled.
Yeah, well, that's because we don't know what we're doing. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's fun to be a little ignorant.
It is great being dumb.
As long as you're as long as you're aware of it.
Yeah. I can't make a brown gray. I'm having a really difficult time. Can you help me out again, Chris? Help me out. Give me some colors here. Help me do this. I'm having a real hard time.
What you're going to do is you're going to start with a little bit of your darkest pigment that's going to go into your gray, and you're going to put that down. Yeah.
I do it the opposite. I start with my lightest pigments. Is that why I'm having problems right now? I'm having real problems. I made a blue gray.
So watch me on my palette. I'm going to take a little bit of blue. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a cad red. And that's going to make it's kind of a dull violet, if you're lucky. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of cad yellow. I'm going to add that to it. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. Oh, I got a little bit of Cad Deep or Cad Yellow Deep on there. Going to add a little bit more of the red until it gets to the brown that I want, and then I'm going to scrape some white into it. And this is a little bit too light for me. And so after you've added all your pigments, if you're not sure, always start dark and add light into it, and then you can go back and add little bits of your dark to adjust it. But if you go from light to dark, you end up using a lot more paint. So this was like a brownish sort of mid-tone gray I just made. Okay.
That doesn't matter.
Now I'm going to scrape that color off my palette knife. And I'm going to throw it any old place.
All right. Thanks for that, by the way.
You're very welcome.
I'm sorry I'm so behind today. Some days I got it, and some days I don't. But that's okay.
Okay. And I will say as a note, when I'm working from reference, if I'm trying to get as close to the composition and feeling of the reference material, I'm usually looking more often at the reference than at my piece. If that makes sense. So constant small comparisons. And this is kind of a blocking or scrubbing in phase.
I'm blocking right now. I'm still blocking.
And if I wasn't such a chump, I would...
You are a chump, dude.
Stop right about now and sign it, because this is most often...
You're already done with your painting?
No. I'm just saying, this is most often when I like the energy and direction. And I've, at this stage, put in probably close to 100 brush strokes. So the economy of it is about where I like it. And as soon as I start to go over this stage, it's always kind of trying to regain some of that lost energy. And it's not always easy to regain it, because a lot of times it means removing parts of paint that you apply because it just got too heavy and it didn't have the right mark. Okay, so do you see what I have so far?
I do see what you have so far, and I think I've scrubbed in what I'm gonna scrub in for my blocking out, and now I'm just gonna start to add my lightest yellows in.
Yeah.
And move in darker. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay.
I think it looks good, what you have so far.
Thanks. Oh, I think it looks good what you have so far too. I'm sorry. I do have about 4 rubber bands holding this camera onto this tripod, and that makes it 3 of them are crossing over your thing.
Well, the first thing we need to do is just to get our shit together and figure out how to do this kind of thing. And it's hard enough just to fucking talk. you know?
Yeah. Well, the thing is that's why I'm just chilling. I don't care how long this video takes, because we do have to talk. We have some things we do need to talk about, probably. I don't know what they are yet. But I will tell you, I'm glad to be sitting here painting. I was at the market. I went back to work this week, and it was not busy at all. And I'm still going to work this week. I'm going to keep doing it, but I had time to paint, and that was wonderful, I have to say. Yeah, so I'm enjoying this habit of us painting because I want to paint every day.
Yeah, it's a good habit.
I really want to paint every day. So
there's so many different habits you can have.
I know. Here it is.
Painting's a pretty productive one.
And I feel like anyone who wants to call me and paint, just call me. We're gonna paint. Okay. I'm gonna be some paint junkie.
Yeah, I spent a lot of my week thinking about some absurd emails and direct messages I received.
Oh no.
Or other people trying to figure out what I thought about certain forms of painting or certain practices. And it's like, when it rains, it pours. And I'm not really great at answering questions, as you know, and as anyone who listened to our previous podcast know.
Oh, me either.
Oh. Yeah, I'm almost flippant with it.
Ooh.
I really don't take it seriously.
Well, I don't think about it. Is that bad? I don't think about it.
Well,
I just try to
no
make
one's asking
sure that
you,
I'm being kind. My only thing is that I want to be kind. I do not want to be an ugly person on a podcast. Does that make sense? That's my only requirement.
It does.
That's it for me. That's the only thing I can think about is, did I hurt anyone's feelings? I hope I did not.
Well,
that's all my only care is that I don't hurt people in the process of creating my art. If that makes sense.
Despite our best attempts, there's always going to be someone who is offended.
Hopefully not.
Well,
whatever.
It's the new pastime.
Oh, yeah. But, I think I'm one of those people that works on staying off of social media for the most part.
I definitely need to do that. I need to start taking long breaks.
Yeah, take a break. I post and then I leave and then I check it the next day. Oh shoot, I just moved my thing, but I moved it back. Or I check it. I can't let one like bother me. Or I don't know how to explain it. I'm painting right now.
The likes don't bother me. The comments that I am somehow...
Oh, there it is. That's what I mean.
Responsible because of however many likes or follows I have. The notion of that is what sort of ticks me off.
You're supposed to be showing us how to do it. I bet that's what you're getting a lot of. You're supposed to be helping me because everybody likes you so much. You're supposed to be taking time out of your day to be helping people. And
Yeah.
you do help people. You just can't help everybody at the same time. That's all. You can't. None of us can. It's not a big deal. You just try better the next day. You can't please everybody.
I'm just doing my best to go through my old catalog of music I used to listen to in high school and college and try to re-listen to all of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because a lot of it I had on cassette tape. And I lost tape. Them in all the different moves.
You didn't have any, we had a car that had, oh my God, what was before the cassette tape? 8-track. You didn't have 8-track player, yeah. Did you ever have an 8-track player?
No. When I was a kid, my father, I think, got a cassette player as early as he could. So I always kind of grew up with cassettes. And I had some of the cassettes still up until around the time I started to travel again, which like full-time travel, which was maybe 2017. I still had maybe a dozen, and there was some kind of issue with a bunch of our stuff getting waterlogged during a storm that we encountered while we were, I want to say Florida, but not sure. And so I just ended up throwing away 2 whole RV bays worth of old stuff because it had molded over a week and I wasn't aware of it. I thought that everything was sealed up nice and tight. It, however, was not. So I have been going through, and now that I have the Apple Music thing, I can just kind of play any old music I want in their catalog, which is fantastic. So I've been going back through and listening to all the old Radiohead and Depeche Mode.
Oh, it's like that, huh?
Another
Radiohead and Depeche Mode.
90s Euro stuff.
Personal Jesus.
Always have been.
Me too.
Volume, Bonnie Miller, volume.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm not painting as quickly as you.
I cannot yet really paint and form sentences at the same time.
No, we're not supposed to. They just want to see what we're doing anyway, don't they?
I'm convinced that this is a skill that can be learned and mastered to a certain degree.
By doing.
Yes.
Just do.
So I've decided to not do a lot of color mixing. I pre-mixed a few of my grays and yellows that I knew I wanted. Just so I wouldn't be doing a lot of shaking.
What I'm doing, just so you wouldn't be sittering around trying to figure out what your colors are even going to be to begin with.
Well,
oh my gosh.
I kind of know what I want to do.
This is a complicated painting. I've never done a sky with clouds. This is going to take me all day.
I chose this, and I went and I took the reference photo and I blurred it purposefully so that you would have less visual input to try to deal with.
Yes.
Okay. So are you using acrylic?
Yeah.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yeah. I just, you know me, I'm still having these like beginning issues of not making enough paint in the beginning. Yeah.
Well, if you're using acrylic and if you don't have a system in place to keep everything moist.
Yes.
You like that word, Bonnie?
I hate it when you say that word.
Oh, I don't like the word either. I just say it because you hate
word.
If
that's why we're friends. I love it. Oh, I remember that your interview. I was listening to your interview, and like you're interviewing that sweet person. What was his name?
David.
His name?
David Sandom.
You're reading, and you're trying to explain the way we all treat each other.
Yeah.
Like, because we will say something to each other like, that's dog shit. You should set it on fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's gonna like send us to mental health.
Definitely throw that one away.
Definitely need. He's probably right. You know, he's probably right.
Well, he had a lot of interesting things to say about art and mental health.
Yes, he did. Oh, he was wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm
he
so
also,
glad you got to talk to him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. And he just had an interview with a guy from BBC talking about art and mental health. And that was posted, I think, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's a neat conversation, too, he had with him.
It's on BBC?
It's a BBC journalist, I think, who has their own podcast.
Oh, okay. I would like to get this weekend when I go to work. I do want to listen to some different podcasts. I need some new stuff. Does that make sense right now? I need some to just while I'm painting. I need some new material to listen to. I need something exciting and new.
I agree. And I try often to find new, exciting things to listen to. And I listen for about 2 minutes and I turn it off. I have complete ADHD when it comes to starting podcasts and trying to follow along with what they're doing. The intersecting commercials that pop up and the people who are raising their voices and then constantly cursing, which I want to do, by the way, throws me off a little, and my mind starts to wander, and I'm like, I really wish I could do this.
Yeah, for as long as a freaking hater.
I shut it off immediately.
Hate away.
You interrupted me. I was about to make a comment on color, and now I forgot it.
Sorry. Look at mine. I'm actually kind of happy. Can you see that I'm actually making a little bit of progress here? What do you think so far? I'm still blocking in my yellows.
I would say
I need some dark.
That it's time that you move some of that gray into the lower part where the water or the water shapes are, and then just get some color in that negative space sky, and I think that will work out.
I want my gray to be a little more bluer. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And I'm not going by what I normally do with my pigments. I'm just sort of using a whole bunch of different ones today just to expedite being able to color mix on here.
I'm doing anything to just get some paint on this thing right now. I am really...
It's so weird. And when we ultimately start to do this...
This is insane.
Because
that Bob Ross is something else, isn't he?
He certainly is.
He certainly is. I mean, when you think about it.
When you and I are going to, because eventually we will attempt to interview and paint with other painters.
I know. Yes.
It is going to be fascinating to see what they come up with, what kind of conversations you can have, and what kind of comes out of it. Because I'm thinking about like maybe 40, 45 minutes, small paintings, just relatively quick block-ins.
Yeah, I've got to change something. I'm reblocking. I have an issue here, and I'm just going to reblock. Yeah, whatever.
If you are too thick with your paint and it's not drying, which shouldn't be the case with you, but if it is, you can always take a wet paper towel and do a little bit of wiping out.
I'm just, I don't care how this looks. It's not my painting. I mean, whatever. We're here or what? What do you want me to say? You want me to care? Do you want me to care what this looks like, Chris Long?